I would first like to invite Zhangeldy Srymbet, Counselor of the Permanent Mission of Kazakhstan to the United Nations and co-chair of the Working Group on Articles 6 and 7 of the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons.
Thank you. Thank you, Brock. Thank you, Christian. It's an honor for me to join you today to talk about my country's experience, and more importantly, I have seen some of my fellow country people in this event. So Kazakhstan is one of the 15 countries in the world which territory was used for nuclear weapons testing in the past. And from 1949 till 1989 and 1991, over the period of 40 years, the territory of the Semipalatinsk nuclear test site was used for testing, and 456 nuclear tests were carried out on the territory of the Semipalatinsk test site, and more than 1 million people suffered of these deadly weapons. The consequences of the current nuclear weapons are much more deadly than the atomic bombs which were used in 1945 in Japan, in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Some experts say that it's thousands times more deadly, and the capacity is higher than the 2 bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That is why if people think that people in Japan, victims of these weapons, Hibakusha, could suffer, that others could suffer as well, it's not like that. The current nuclear weapons arsenals are enough to destroy the whole globe. That is why, since the very first days of our independence, the Republic of Kazakhstan has been advocating for the nuclear weapon-free world. We've joined all the major international legally binding instruments and joined the Nuclear Weapons Non-Proliferation Treaty, which we call the NPT, as a non-nuclear weapon state. Kazakhstan renounced its nuclear weapons arsenals, the 4th largest in the world, and then closed this testing site. There was a movement, Semey Nevada. It's consisted of individuals from Kazakhstan and the United States who helped to advocate for the nuclear testing ban. And finally, in a couple of years, other nuclear testing sites were silent. In 1996, the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty was adopted. Unfortunately, this treaty is still not entered into force, and Kazakhstan, with other partners, has been advocating for the entry into force and universalization of this treaty. In 2017, my country was among others who supported the movement towards a nuclear weapons ban, and we were among those countries who adopted this draft treaty and supported strongly the United Nations General Assembly resolution among 122 countries. And then Kazakhstan was among the first 50 countries who ratified this treaty, and with this we led the treaty to be entered into force. Nowadays we are preparing for the 3rd meeting of states parties to the TPNW, and Kazakhstan will be presiding over this meeting next year in March. In the same direction, we've been working with the Mission of Kazakhstan as co-chairs of the Article 6 and 7 of the TPNW to implement these articles and the decisions of the first two meetings. It's been an honor working together with Kiribati, another country suffered of nuclear weapons testing on its territory. One of our tangible proposals is to establish an international trust fund to support victims of nuclear testing, and of course to provide measures on the environmental remediation, rehabilitation, decontamination. All of this set of measures will be included. And during this intersessional period, we've been working towards setting up decisions on the implementation of the previous decisions, and of course to elaborate new decisions for the 3 MSP. We very much count on representatives of civil society, academia, experts, and of course people who suffered from these consequences of nuclear testing, the victims, as we call some, groups of veterans who can help us to elaborate on the necessary decisions, where and how we can be helpful, what would be the best way to tackle these problems. That is why please feel free to share with us your ideas, your recommendations on this and other issues. I'm glad to see my fellow country people joining us today, and I hope they will be able to share their views, talk about the problems on the ground, problems of the Semipalatinsk, Semei region, and I'm sure that these discussions will be helpful for the process within the TPNW framework. And I'm also grateful to the campaigners, nuclear justice campaigners, the RTT, the NAPF organizations, and personally to our good partner, friend, and colleague, Christian. I would be happy to be engaged in the Q&A session after all of the speakers provide their presentations. Once again, thank you so much. Since I've been given around 5 minutes, it's not easy to cover all the possible issues, but I would like to touch on one more issue that last year our 2 countries, Kazakhstan and Kiribati, initiated and tabled a new resolution in the first committee of the UNGA on victim assistance and environmental remediation, which was successfully adopted by the vast majority of UN member states. And this successful outcome was owing to the broad support of civil society, of academia, of course member states, but many individuals support us, even in their countries who couldn't vote in favor of this resolution. Still, we understand and we appreciate every individual's support to us. We've been following the principle of inclusiveness, transparency, and openness. That is why we will try to, attract more views from a wider community and use this in our further work to promote nuclear justice. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to our discussion.